You don't have to be a sheikh, allama, someone, not lovey-dovey situation. Love is truly what makes the world go round. What we mean by that, let's explain this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. The Prophet, peace be upon him, he said that a good word, a kind word is charity. وَالْكَلِمَةُ الطَّيِّبَةُ صَدَقَةٌ. Saying something that uplifts a person, saying a kind word, a genuine compliment for a person is a form of charity. It's an act of worship. Something, it doesn't require so much effort from your part that you're going out of your way, you're giving them a lecture about all the good things about them. You're just complimenting them on the way they look. You're complimenting them on the way they said something. You're making them feel good about themselves is a form of charity. Today, as human beings, we don't talk to each other. We don't interact with each other. Everything is behind the screen. Everything is very artificial, very, this is the purpose of this, you're very efficient about what you're saying about. No one is actually saying something genuine. No one is talking to each other in the first place.
In general.
And in general, people aren't talking, they're not complimenting each other, they're not saying a simple, nice word. They're not genuinely asking, how are you doing today?
Yeah, they don't care.
It's, if they actually answer the question genuinely, they're like,
it's not right. It's incorrect.
Like, I wasn't expecting
it's socially inappropriate.
I wasn't expecting that response. But, like, genuinely asking someone, how are you doing? And having a nice heart-to-heart discussion about something, it goes such a long way because no one says these things anymore.
And every person requires this, man or woman. And these days especially, I think young people in particular, I would say, they're lacking genuine encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, and especially combine that with what's commonly portrayed on social media, the idea of perfection, especially when it comes to looks and young people. Young women in particular are especially under a lot of pressure to look a certain way. and what a lot of the time they just require some encouragement. And the parents even, I don't think parents do a really good job these days on encouraging the youth. And you need to, of course, productively, constructively criticize your children because you're making them better, but also encourage them, remind them of what they've been given. Remind them of the gifts they have that perhaps other people don't have. Remind them of the advantages that they've been given, the privileges that they've been given in life, that maybe they've been given life as a result of your hard work and you providing those privileges for them. That'll actually make them far more grateful and far more cognizant of the fact that life isn't terrible. And again, to be very clear, it's not about just mindlessly complimenting and telling your kids they're great at everything. Obviously not. You need to constructively criticize to obviously make them better, but genuinely encourage them and tell them what is great about them. And that goes a long, long way.
Going further into the Islamic paradigm, imagine what it's like for the Imam of the community, for example, who perhaps generally in the khutbah, he criticizes people. He's like, this is how you should do things. This is the reason that the youth are like this. And he's wagging the finger and he's waving his hand. Like, if he genuinely says to someone, if he sits down to a young fella and he says, I'm really proud of you.
What's that?
Imagine how far that's going to go. Because he's not expecting it from the sheikh of the community, from the imam of the community, from the sisters. If there's a learned sister who is very active in the community, if she sits down with another sister, a young girl from the community, and she says, you're fantastic, I love the way that you're doing this, well done, keep it up. That goes so much. You don't realize how much that goes. And like I said, you don't have to sit down and discuss it for half an hour. Just taking someone and saying it personally, look, you're doing really well, and I'm very proud of you. That goes so much. I'll tell you something personal. I remember one day where someone gave me a compliment. I was in school and they said, I love your shoes. I still remember that day, and it's not because I'm crazy. It's just because no one says these things anymore.
Yeah.
Like no one genuinely says, look, like someone is putting effort in the way they look. Someone is putting effort in the way they are as a human being. They're trying to improve themselves. Even perhaps if they're not. If you just compliment, look, I love the way you're speaking. I love the way you're dressing up, and it's really good. Like keep it up. Even if someone is putting effort into that, they'll feel motivated to keep going.
That's right.
If someone isn't really well done. If someone isn't really acknowledging it that much, they'll put more effort into that, and they'll feel really good about themselves.
And going back to the fact that it has to be genuine, everybody genuinely has something.
Yes.
Everybody does. Even if they're not exercising that, everybody has something. Everybody has potential. And if they're not doing something that's admirable or that's worthy of a genuine compliment, then you can compliment the fact that they have potential. You can see that could be intellectual potential, that could be physical potential. Especially young people don't realize this, and going back to the parents, that you have so much intellectual potential, you have so much physical potential, and you focusing on that as a parent, you complimenting that, and oh, you have a great gift here, you should work to develop it. It's going to motivate that kid to develop whatever that is, physically and mentally. And also a great effect of that is that when you give a genuine compliment, you also open up the person to receive genuine criticism, genuine productive criticism. And you can say something like, look, I really like what you're doing here. You can make it better this way. Or, oh, you're working out regularly. Oh, if you clean up your diet a little bit, you can really push this a long way. You can improve your results. Oh, I really like the effort you're putting into studying this subject. How about try doing it this way? And it'll be even better. And as a result of that, you're giving them a genuine compliment, you're encouraging them, and also you're giving them genuine feedback, you're giving them genuine productive criticism. And that's a lethal combo, and that goes a long, long way.
Love is truly what makes the world go round. What we mean by that, let's explain this, because it needs to be explained. We're not saying that like everything is rainbows and roses and we have to be lovey-dovey and all the time. No, we mean that being genuine, saying something simple that makes uplift someone's spirit. As a hadith, as that statement says, a good word, a kind word is sadaqah. You're spreading positivity, not in the airy-fairy way, just being positive. And instead of everyone being negative and trying to focus on themselves, all the negatives, oh, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing this right. Especially in a world where we're bombarded with what we think is correct or what is perfection. What are the correct standards? This is the way you're supposed to look. This is the way you're supposed to speak. This is the knowledge that you're supposed to have. This is how eloquent you have to be. When it all starts from the family, when your parents, when your siblings say that about you, your aunts, your uncles, the leaders in the community, when they acknowledge you and when they motivate you in a way, then you realize that you actually don't have to be Chris Hemsworth to to look good or to put to put effort in the way that you look. You don't have to be a Sheikh, Allama, someone to be able to say something that connects with people. And saying something that is positive for other people, it allows them to grow as individuals, and that's what we need. We don't need robots. We don't need this is the Islamic
that are all the exact same. And that's definitely not what Islam says.
Exactly. If you look at the Sahaba, the companions there and the Prophet, peace be upon him, they were all different. They all had different personalities, they all had different interests, and they all leaned into those and made use of those in a way that made them comfortable and made them more useful for society. Exactly.
Also, understand what it says about you as a person if you're the person focusing on the negative and discouraging people rather than focusing on the positive and encouraging people. And there was something I was listening to the other day, and he was saying that hate generally doesn't come from above.
Right, okay.
And it's true. If someone is wealthier than you, richer than you, more successful than you, more intellectually capable or physically capable, it's generally not those people who are going to criticize your efforts
Right,
in
right.
that aspect of life.
Yeah.
Like a successful fitness trainer is not going to be making fun of the overweight person making a genuine effort, trying to make their life better, trying to build better habits, trying to build a better body and mind. Because that fitness trainer has probably gone through a lot themselves. They understand the effort, the discipline, the sacrifice, the suffering that is required to get to that point. So generally, people superior than you in their fields are not going to be the ones criticizing. They're actually going to be the ones encouraging you because they know how hard it is. They know how difficult it is. And this is very evident in every aspect of life. So understand when you're kind of mindlessly criticizing people or discouraging people, it says a lot about you. Hate generally doesn't come from above. It almost always comes from below.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The Prophet, peace be upon him, went through so much suffering, so much difficulty in his life. Despite that, he was the most positive of all the people around him. He was smiling all the time. Smiling is a form of charity, and that's the mindset that we need. Again, the perspective, not lovey-dovey situation.
Not the naive kind of love. It's that everything, if it comes from a place of genuine care, is going to be better for society overall. And there's just one point that I can finish up that it's, and this is scientifically proven, that it's not just your internal state that affects your outer state. It's what you do on the outside that has a very real effect on your physiology on the inside.
Right.
So if you're smiling at others, if you make it a habit, or if you push yourself to genuinely try your best to smile at people around you, that's going to have an effect on your internal state. That's going to make you more, maybe happy is the wrong word, but it's going to kind of make your internal state at least more positive than it would have before. And what a great benefit that is.
Exactly, yeah. That's it for this video. Keep smiling, and we'll see you in the next.
Great.
And keep smiling.
Smile through the pain.
Smile through the pain.